Hello once again and welcome back to the Monster Hobbies Model Car Garage. If this is your first time visiting here and you like the video you're about to see, why not consider subscribing and joining our nice YouTube group right here. So what do I have for you today? Well, it's AMT's 1965 Pontiac GTO hardtop. This is one of those great Craftsman series kits. Now these models do not have engines in them, but they do have a plethora of a lot of great other parts. So without further ado, let's check out this great hardtop model kit right now. Now let's roll the clock all the way back to 1965, where we get to see this amazing AMT 1965 GTO hardtop. This is a Craftsman Plus series kit, which means that it is a curbside style model, which means that there is no engine in here. On the box art illustration, we see this wonderful GTO with the GR license plate, as well as these nice factory dog dish style hubcaps. Here on the side of the box, we can see that wonderful illustration, 3/4 front view of our blue 1965 GTO with the red line tires, red wall tires, I guess. And here are the features: all new tooling, authentic detail, colorful decals, low parts count, and fun to build. On this side of the box, we see a rear 3/4 view of the car, painted in a nice buttercup yellow. And as we move the box lid across, we see that our 65 Pontiac GTO hardtop includes 2 wheel options, pad printed red line tires, side view mirror, engine plate, and it's easy to assemble. On the bottom of the box, we see our parts count here, as well as that this is a skill level 2 kit, which will require some glue and paint and is for ages 14 and up, which is really interesting because our Chevelle model kit, which is also a Craftsman series of basically the same parts count and everything, said that it was for ages 10 and up. So I'll let you use your judgment there. There are 54 parts in this kit. Now, just as a side note, if you're looking for a more detailed version of a 65 Pontiac GTO from AMT, don't forget to check out my unboxing video of this 65 Pontiac GTO, which I'll include in the end screen. This one you can build one of 2 ways, stock or custom, and it does have an engine in it. You can also build this as a hardtop. There is a hardtop included in here that you glue on, as well as a custom hardtop. But getting back to the Craftsman Plus series kit, let's remove the top of this and see what we get. Right, here we go, and inside the box we can see all the wonderful plastic components. We have our Pontiac body right here, which looks amazing. Clear parts. We have chrome, as well as our white plastic components. We've got our decal sheet down below, which we'll take a look at the end of the video. Our instructions, and a bag including our tires. Here we have our instruction sheet for our 65 Pontiac GTO hardtop, and we have the read this before you begin section. Now we'll get right into the heart of our model kit, where we see our interior being assembled. What we have is the bucket, which has the interior sides, as well as the rear seat, floor, and center transmission tunnel and console molded in place, as well as the front kick panel. We have our bucket seats being put in place here, as well as the center console with the gear stick lever in the middle. We have our steering wheel, steering column, and our dashboard. Assembly step 2 shows our body turned upside down, and we're going to install our front windshield and back glass. And what we have are little pins on the body, up on the roof, as well as on the lower part of the body, and they will go into the holes on the glass and lock it all in place. You will need to glue these in. Assembly step 3 shows our chassis with our engine plug being dropped into place, and then we have our front axle blocks and our plastic axle going through them. Be careful to make sure that the axle block is opened up enough so that the pins will rotate freely around because those are your front wheels and they need to rotate. Assembly step 4 shows our body, interior, and chassis being all put together. And what we have is pins on the chassis, which will go up into the bottom of the interior. And then we have these tubes on all 4 corners, which will go into pegs on the body up underneath. Assembly step 5 shows the rear of our car, with the nice panel being glued into place back here. We have transparent red taillights and our rear bumper. Assembly step 6 shows our hood with the wonderful little grille for our scoop being put in place. We also have our side view mirror and the grille inserts, as well as the front bumper with our vertical quad headlights and our glass going in place. Make sure the headlight glass has these lines going north, south, east, and west, and not off on weird angles. Overall, this is quite a simplistic way of putting together the front of the car, and once all assembled, it will look excellent. Assembly step 7 shows our wheels being assembled. So here we have the wheel back, the tire, and the wheel going in place. Or you could build the stock hubcaps, and what it shows is the front wheels here. And the front wheels you can always tell because they have the grease cap right in the center, as the wheels in the back do not, because on the rear axle you don't have a grease cap there. So these would go up in front, and then our dog dish hubcaps will glue on, and then these will replace this and go into the tire with the back getting squished in place. Now down here it shows the metal axle going into the rear wheel. You would put it in there, slide the wheel into the hole, and then on the other side finish it off with the opposite wheel. Up front we have these wheels going onto those plastic pins, so make sure you're very careful with your glue. Just put a little tiny bit on the end and squish it together, and try not to get glue back here where the wheel will actually rotate. There is a note up here: if using optional hubcaps P7, so that's these guys, open the blind holes located on the back side of parts 14 and 15. So there's going to be these holes right in here, and it says to open them up. The other thing you could do is just paint black paint in there, but paint your wheel a lighter color, like a blue or whatever the body color is. Now let's take a look at our wonderful Pontiac GTO body. And I really love under the hood here, they have the front panel where your hood latch is going to be and your radiator support, as well as the little lip that goes along the side here. On the real car, there would be bolts going down along here to bolt the fender to the body. And then we have a little panel right here under the hood, and that makes it so that the hood won't fall through. We also have our cowl up here with the vents, which are really nice. Pontiac arrowhead off the back. Again, really beautifully done. GTO emblem on the side, nice door latch, as well as an emblem down here. Again, really excellent work. Turning it right upside down, we see the pins in here, as well as some mold marks, which you can correct up with some putty and your number 16 hobby blade. Looking at the back, we have the nice holes here to mount that rear panel, as well as a GTO emblem or lettering. Then we have our Pontiac arrowhead up front in the center. Again, really nicely done. There are some seam lines up in here which will have to be corrected, but overall this is a very amazing looking little car. Now, just for a little fun comparison in this video, I wanted to compare the convertible kit, which was designed way back in the 60s, to the newly tooled Pontiac here for our Craftsman series. And you can see that dimensionally they are pretty much the same for length. I do believe the front headlight treatment is more correct in this one than this one, and I'll show that in a second here. But underneath the hood, as you can see, this is all wide open, whereas here you have that nice brace in the front. So again, I do believe this is a more advanced kit. Also, you could keep this one as a convertible now, because if you get the hardtop, you don't have to try to figure out how to glue the hardtop in place and align it perfectly and fill it in with any putty around the edges, because here it's all molded as the one piece. Comparing these kits from the side view, it does look like the angle here is a little steeper than on the convertible kit. Overall, though, the details on the side are pretty much the same. You've got the logos in the same places, as well as the lettering. Again, looks pretty good. Both of these kits would look good, nicely built up and side by side. There are a few interesting issues with the convertible, though. Here we've got a big, you can see it, a big blob in here. And I think at one point in time, this wheel arch was opened up, and then AMT refilled it to get it the proper shape. That's pretty much what it looks like. Or that this is some kind of stop so that you could grind out the wheel opening larger and put in some custom tires. But overall, quite a bit of change in here. There are some mounts for the firewall and front radiator support in the convertible, whereas here they don't exist. But again, you've got the difference between a simple Craftsman, almost snapped together, and a fully detailed kit. Next, we'll carry on with the underpan of our model, and again, this is really nicely done. There are some mold marks and actually mold release agent, which will need to be cleaned up before you paint this. So use your sandpaper and number 16 hobby blade to remove them. There's the posts for our body to mount on, and here are some pins for the interior. Turning this over, you can see the nice detail under here. It's pretty crisp, although the gas tank looks a bit smooth. We do have our exhaust pipes with mufflers molded in place, as well as our rear axle and the split exhaust tips. So drill these out to make them look more accurate. And we have the underbody detail, which is again really nice, and our front lower A-arm assembly. So again, really excellent detail on it. Bringing it up to the camera, you can see all the effort that went in from AMT to make this look accurate, although being just a flat panel bottom. Our next parts tree includes our dashboard, wheel backs, and the interior tub. Now the only problem with the tub is because the panels are not molded flat somewhere and then glued on, they're molded in the bucket. You get a long draw down here on the sides from the mold process. And certain elements, like your door handles, end up looking flat, where they're supposed to actually look like this. This is a window crank from a 72 Oldsmobile, although they used this all the way back in the 60s. Now, keeping that in mind, you can see that on that door panel side, you actually pretty much get nothing. But there is some interesting paneling going on in here. We have the front pedals, so this is an automatic. We've got the big brake pedal and the gas pedal in here. Somehow my lips didn't work in that moment. Now we have our transmission tunnel and a little raised bit for a center console. The seat pattern looks really excellent, much like our other Pontiac that I showed there, the glue kit. Same textured pattern on there, only a little more precise, being a new tooling. Here we have our dashboard, and this one does include the raised instruments, so you will have to paint these and then carefully pick out all the little dials and numbers, as well as the needles. We have our radio down here, as well as this nice mesh. Again, really cool looking stuff for a Pontiac. Amazingly done. Up underneath, you can see the little tubes on here for our mounting pins and the wheel backs. Again, excellent work from AMT and a nice retooling of a beautiful old Pontiac. Here we have two parts trees, and these are our stock wheels, and they're designed for those wonderful dog dish hubcaps, which I'm going to use. So I'll just move these off to the side for a minute. Right here we have our hood, as well as the hood scoop component. Now, interesting that this is not chrome, but if you want it chrome, you can use your Molotow chrome pen or some bare metal foil. And then we've got our front blocks here, as well as the axle pins. We've got our engine plug, which is a Pontiac V8 in there, our rally steering wheel, And we have our front seats. Something that is interesting, oh, right here is our steering console. So there you go. I was almost going to say, where is it? At any rate, there's our Pontiac seats with the nice sash down the centers here with the Pontiac arrowhead right in the middle. There's our hood there, as well as the engine detail. Looks really cool right in there on our harmonic balancer. It's neat that AMT put this loop in here. That protects these parts here from getting crushed and popped out. So again, really cool stuff. Now there's no hood detail underneath here, but you can build this as a removable hood if you want to ignore the engine plug and find an actual Pontiac V8 in there. But overall, again, this is some really cool stuff. You'd have to fill in these mold marks because they are kind of irregularly shaped in there. But overall, again, this is some really nice stuff. Let's take a look at our wheels. You can see those grease caps on the two wheels, as well as none on the back, which is accurate. So they're talking about opening up these little holes right in here. And I can see that being very difficult. You would need a really tiny drill, like a number 81 in there, from your micro drill set. I would almost just, take and put a little black wash in there to save yourself the trouble. But if you are really into detail, I wish you luck on using that drill, and good luck. Here we have our wonderful parts tree, and again it's got this wonderful roll bar loop in here to protect our side view mirrors. You do get two of these, and they are the same side, but that's always good because you could use one on a different kit if you want, even that other Pontiac that I showed. Here we have our front bumper with our vertical quad headlights, as well as the rear bumper and the rear grille in here. We have our front grills, and then we've got our center console, and we get two of the gear stick levers, so in case one of them breaks off and you can't find it. And over here we get our wonderful dog dish hubcaps and our rally wheels. Now here it's interesting because it looks like there would be some other wheels, but they are removed out of this parts tree. That is quite odd, but overall I like these. They have the open holes in the back, which are really nice. That center console looks good, an automatic one. And then we've got our grills there for GTO, which GTO was the letters also used on a Ferrari. So there we go with the back panel. And then the front. So again, looking really excellent. The chrome looks nice and thick on here and clean. And the cutoff points are not somewhere, well, maybe on the rear bumper here, where they're going to be really apparent. So that is quite good. But again, if you do nick off the chrome, you can always touch it up with your Molotow chrome pen. Here we have our transparencies, which include our front and rear window. Again, they look really good. There are some mold marks on the top, but I do believe they would get covered up in the body. We also have our headlights. Now, unlike the Malibu kit, you only get what's needed, so make sure you don't lose these. And when you install them into your grille, make sure your lines are going north, south, east, and west. And here we have our red taillights, and these ones have quite the curve into them, as you can see. Again, they look quite nice. You can see the lines in there, just like it should be on the real car. And bringing this up to the camera, you can see the lines in the headlights, although they do seem a little bit light in comparison to some other headlights that I've seen. Overall, though, the glass is quite clean and looks fantastic. Next up, we have our 4 tires. Now, unlike the GTO convertible kit, these ones are nondescript, which means that they don't say Firestone or Goodyear, although I do believe that the original kit, the convertible that is, does have Firestone tires. However, I do like the red pad printed wall on here, which looks amazing. The tire detail is a lot tighter on the actual tread, whereas the other tires look more like tractor tires, I believe. At least they did in the earlier ones. But here again, we've got the nice looking red line tires, and these kind of remind me of old Johan kit tires. Now the moment we've all been waiting for, the decal sheet unveiling. So let's just remove our backing paper here. And we have these wonderful black and white pinstripes which go along the sides of your Pontiac GTO. We have GTO lettering here, as well as the emblems and our Pontiac arrowheads. We have little decals for the center of our rally wheels, as well as this GUR license plate, a dashboard with wood grain, as well as one with a black background. California Lil GTO and Go-Go GTO from Colorado. So again, much like the popular song of the era. Now, if you want to make some real license plates, check out my video where I show how it's done. They're easy to make out of paper and a printer. So once again, wonderful looking decal sheet with a few extra letters and whatnot in order to make your model really shine. You could even save some of these emblems for the convertible kit. Well, I hope you enjoyed that great unboxing video of AMT's 1965 Pontiac GTO hardtop, another great Craftsman series model kit. You know what? A lot of people watch these videos but don't subscribe. Now, I don't quite understand why not. I mean, you get these great unboxing videos and reviews, as well as many other features. And if you want to take it one step further and become a member, you get to watch these great videos in advance of all the other subscribers. So why not give it a shot? There's a few options, starting from 99 cents a month to $3, and even $19.99 if you really enjoy this channel and really want to help support us. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to check out some great model kits for sale, visit our website at www.monster-hobbies.ca. And until next time, everybody, happy model building, and we'll see you in the next video.